First of all, thank you all very much for coming today to this CI Compass webinar. This is a webinar dedicated to engaging with CI Compass. So we're here to work with you, and we're very happy that you're here and attending this talk. And Anirban Mandal, who is the Associate Director for CI Compass, will describe to us how we can work together. And also, if you have suggestions about how we could work better with you, we would love to hear it. We're here to listen to your input as well. So Anirban Mandal is an Assistant Director for Network Research and Infrastructure at RENCI. His primary focus is research on distributed systems and scientific computing. In particular, he researches issues of resource provisioning, scheduling, performance analysis, and anomaly detection for large-scale scientific cyber infrastructure, next-generation networks, and experimental testbeds. And today he will talk to us about engaging with CI Compass, which is an NSF-funded Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence. Welcome, Anirban.
Hi, Eva. Thank you for introducing me. I'll be talking about how to engage with the CI Compass. So the map here shows the various NSF investments in major facilities around the world, enabling basic research in a variety of science and engineering fields, from astronomy, astrophysics, to ecology, ocean sciences, atmospheric sciences, seismic science, hazard engineering, and so on, right? So these facilities, they deliver data, computation, analysis capabilities, different modeling capabilities, different labs and physical capabilities to a broad range of science and engineering communities, right? To the researchers, to the students, scientists, and the general public. So as we see here, these major facilities, they're highly diverse, they're distributed, they're heterogeneous, they're complex, and they differ in the kinds of data that they collect. They differ in the type of instruments and sensors that they use to collect the data, to the type of science that can be done with the data that they collect, and the type of analysis and computations that can be performed on that data, right? So given that complexity of the data needs of cyber infrastructure for major facilities, they all rely on complex CI to transform the raw data that's collected by the sensors and instruments into more interoperable and integration-ready data products that can then be used by the community of scientists to spur new discoveries, new innovations, and then transforming this data into more insights and knowledge, right? So the major facilities are central to a lot of scientific discoveries, and they're also, as you know, there are at least maybe 63 physics Nobel laureates in the last until 2018. And if you look into the facilities that they have used, you'll see many of the facilities on this map that have been used to enable some of the research that led to the Nobel Prizes. So given the importance of cyber infrastructure and the associated challenges that major facilities might face, in 2021, the National Science Foundation, they founded CI Compass, our project that I'll be talking about today, as an NSF Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence. So our mission is to provide expertise and active support to the cyber infrastructure practitioners at these NSF major facilities in order to accelerate the data life cycle and the data cyber infrastructure to ensure the effectiveness of the CI upon which many of those discoveries depend. So we put together an excellent team with participants from 6 institutions. We are led by our fearless leader, Eva Deelman from USCISI, and we have partners from University of Notre Dame with Jarek Nabrisky as the lead from there, from University of Utah with Valeria Pashkucci as the lead, Indiana University with Angela Murillo as the lead, and Texas Tech University with Kirk Key as the lead, and I'm leading the efforts from the RENCI side. So our team is driven by a few core values of scientific excellence, agility, inclusivity, transparency, and being purpose-driven, right? And we do have deep expertise in a multitude of cyber infrastructure areas that are critical to the success of the major facilities. So these include data management, data processing, visualization, semantic technologies. We do have experts in our team who are experts in automation, workflow management, scientific workflows, resource management, and so on. From the infrastructure side, we have folks who have deep expertise in networking, clouds, large-scale CI deployment, systems infrastructure, identity management, and social sciences. Our team also has experience in managing these large CI projects from the conceptualization of the project onto the designing and operations and broad adoption of CI projects. We do have people who are good at project management, evaluation, organizational science, and communications. And we are a highly collaborative bunch of people with a long and strong history of working together with very diverse community connections in different scientific areas, like in astronomy, earth sciences, and physics. And most importantly, we are dedicated to the advancement of CI for science, engineering, and education. So given that context, our project is also advised by an excellent advisory committee. It includes representatives from major facilities like Stuart Anderson from LIGO and Adam Bolton from NORLab. We have representatives from researchers and scientists who use these facilities like Bonnie Hurwitz from University of Arizona. We have operators of infrastructure that's used by the major facilities, infrastructure like OSG and PATH, and we have Miron Livni in our advisory committee. And we have Von Welch from Indiana University, who is the leader of the Trusted CI, which is another center of excellence that NSF runs with focusing on cybersecurity. We also have Mike Zentner on the advisory committee, who is from SDSC and who runs the Science Gateways Community Institute. So we really thank our advisory committee for very valuable inputs that they provide on the course of the project, and some of those inputs are reflected in this presentation. So, so the overall CI Compass strategy and also by implication strategy for engagements is to first recognize the expertise, the long experience, and the mission focus for the major facilities. We want to contribute knowledge and expertise to the major facilities data cyber infrastructure. And at the same time, we want to contribute to an enhanced overall NSF CI ecosystem. One important thing to note here is we want to build expertise and not software. So that's why we want to also build on existing knowledge, existing tools, existing community efforts, and leverage them as a part of the work we do. Also, we want to build partnerships and broker connections between major facilities and the broader CI community. And then as a part of the engagements and the topical working groups, we want to share the knowledge and the lessons learned and the best practices that we distill with other major facilities and the broader CI community and our partners. So given that, that context and to execute that strategy, CI Campus engages in multiple activities. So in this talk, I'll be covering mostly our engagements and how and the functions that we do there, but which do constitute a big portion of the activities for CI Campus. But we are also responsible for conducting other activities like the cyberinfrastructure for major facilities workshops. That's a biennial workshop sponsored by NSF. We also run more focused topical workshops. We're also conducting a student program right now, more specifically a student internship program. We do run webinars, we do surveys, and we also publish papers and technical reports on cyber infrastructure topics that are relevant to major facilities. So in this talk, first I will talk about the different data lifecycle cyber infrastructure services that is offered by CI Campus as engagement topics with the major facilities. That is, what can we help with? And to do that, I'll take some examples of ongoing and past engagements conducted by our team. And after that, I'll be talking about how can we help in the CI Campus engagement in terms of how do we solicit engagements, how do we conduct engagements, how do we evaluate engagements. So moving on to what kind of services CI Campus offers. So the focus for our engagements is the major facilities data lifecycle. So so by data lifecycle, it is basically a model depicted on this slide, which shows how data traverses through a scientific facility, all the way from collecting the data as a data capture step, collecting the data using different kinds of sensors and instruments, to processing of that data, transferring the data from into higher level data products and making them actually science ready, storing the data, archiving the data, curating the data, and then ultimately disseminating the data to the scientists, educators, students, and the public. You also notice that there are many CI functions, there are many CI elements that are cross-cutting across multiple of this across these different stages of the data lifecycle. So this, for example, data movement, fair data, identity management, these would be examples of some cross-cutting CI elements. So in essence, any cyber infrastructure issue that underpins one or more of these data lifecycle stages falls under the broad scope of CI Campus engagements. One thing to note here is the people, the CI practitioners, we considered as an integral portion of the cyber infrastructure. Also, this data life cycle is just a starting point for our engagements, but we are happy to engage more broadly. So what kind of CI services are offered by CI Campus for engagements, right? I wanted to give you some examples of CI Campus services. So these services include evaluating cyber infrastructure plans, helping design new CI solution. We want to help with assessing the applicability and performance of existing solutions, how we can leverage existing CI solutions to solve certain CI issues faced by the major facilities. And then for some more concrete examples, for example, in data capture, we want to discuss different sensor data annotations. We want to apply community sensor data to explore messaging systems and support interoperability across major facilities in terms of sensor data annotations. For data processing, we can help with leveraging external infrastructures or existing test beds to evaluate new software stacks and configurations that might help during enhancements on design of new CI for a particular purpose inside a major facility. For example, in data visualization, we can assist in designing data visualization tools on prototypes. We can assist in evaluating data visualization techniques for a specific purpose to enhance data discoverability and accessibility. In identity management, we can assist in developing IDM solutions and to adopt things like CI logon and co-manage to help in user access to data and users reporting and tracking. So this is not an exhaustive list of things that we can help with. We do have an offered services list, also non-exhaustive, that's published on the CI Compass website, and we have the URL here in this slide. So now I want to give you some concrete examples of some of the work that we have done as a result of current and past engagements. So the first example is the engagement with the NEON and the NCAR major facilities on a project called NCAR Modeling with NEON Data. And in this engagement, we are involved since November of 2020. And the overall goal of this project is to combine the NEON ecosystem data with NCAR modeling capabilities to enable new discoveries. And at the same time, the other goal was how can this be done using cloud technologies and containers to enable some of the modeling in the cloud so that wide community access of both the models and the data is possible. So as a part of this engagement, CI Compass provided advice on cloud technologies, including containers, providing help, hands-on help with container testing and scaling of containers. We consulted on fair aspects of data management, and we provided advice on data visualization techniques and with proofs of concept. As you see here on the bottom right is an example of a work product that resulted as a part of this engagement, where we developed proof of concept visualization for some of the data set in this collaboration. And this prototype was actually adapted to their portal in the context of NCAR and NEON. And so this work was showcased in the NCAR NEON community workshop in 2021. So the other aspect of engagements are these working groups. In this context, we have 3 working groups. So by working groups, we mean Each engagement consists of one or more working groups focusing on different CI topics. And each working group can have members, will have members from both CI campus and the major facility, and they'll work together on specific CI issues. So in this engagement, we have had 3 working groups, one for data exchanges, which is looking into the fair aspects of data management, container and cloud computing, and data visualization. So this gives you a flavor of how we conduct an engagement with working groups. What are the work products that can be possible, and what are the kinds of CI areas that we could help with. The next example of engagement is the one with the SAGE and GAGE major facilities, which we are conducting since February of 2020. So the overall goal of this project is to develop a common cloud platform, which is a cloud-based data services framework for ingesting, archiving, curation, processing, and distribution of data sets to the seismic and the geodetic communities. And this is basically migration of both SAGE and GAGE large facility into a cloud environment in conjunction with an institutional merge of UNAVCO and IRIS, who manage the GAGE and the SAGE facilities respectively. So this was a much more involved engagement that we have done as a CI Compass activity. We have already completed 2 rounds of this engagement, 2 phases of this engagement, and right now we are in phase 3. So in phase 1 of this engagement, we consulted mostly on the planning of the project. For example, for developing the concept of the operations, helping them define the data flows and use cases, high-level requirements of the system, and an initial platform design. Then engagement phase 2 was a much more involved engagement where we provided advice on much more detailed elements of the system design. We looked into data collection, archiving, distribution, provided analysis for clouds, process orchestration, and identity management. So this looked into evaluating alternatives, doing the research on different techniques and technologies and CI tools that are available in the community that could be applied to the common cloud platform system design. And we're there right now conducting phase 3 of the engagements. And in this phase, they're mostly concentrated on doing some of the actual initial implementation of the design that was conducted in phase 1 and phase 2. For example, they're doing a prototype system in the commercial cloud, developing a metadata handling system, and a common data container framework. So as CI Compass, we provided advice on these different working group areas. We reviewed system designs. We conducted research into and documenting some of the available best practices and tools for different aspects of the CCP architecture. We co-designed some of the architectural documents and solutions for different stages of data lifecycle. The other thing I wanted to note here is every engagement that CI Compass does is a bidirectional process. It's not that CI Compass only provides expertise and advice. We learn a lot as a process of these engagements. So in this case, we're observing, learning, and documenting a complex major facility CI migration process into the cloud. And that knowledge that we learn as a process of these engagements, we could apply to other major facilities or other CI projects, large CI projects in general. one example outcome or a work product of this engagement came from the cloud provider analysis working group in the second phase of engagement, where this working group was charged with analyzing the costs, risks, and benefits of adopting cloud platform for the data service infrastructures for Sage Engage. So this work was led by Jarek Nabrisky on our side, and it had partners from Sage Engage, and we did collaborate with Internet2 on this project because Internet2 provided us the conduit to many of the commercial cloud providers because of existing relationships with them. So as a part of this engagement, we did this analysis, and then we came up with a document which gives you an overview of this analysis. And for now, this document is an internal document between SageGauge and CI Compass, and because it has some of the context of Sage Engage in it, but a version of this document would be made public, and that will be published soon. And some of this work was also presented by Jarek in the Sage Engage Community Science Workshop last year. So this gives you an example of how we developed another kind of work product, a document here, which not only helped the major facilities we are engaged with, but we could distill some of the best practices and the analysis done as a part of the engagement, and then we're trying to open it up and offer it to the broader CI community so that those public findings could be applied in other contexts or in other projects. The next example of engagements is the one that we did with the NEON major facility for the NEON CI enhancements. So this engagement was done in the 2018-2019 timeframe, when we're still in the pilot phase of our project. At that time, we're called CI COE pilot. When we started this project, we didn't know anything about major facilities. I mean, we knew about them, but we were not aware of the intricacies of the cyber infrastructure aspects of major facilities. So this engagement was designed with the goal of learning about major facilities in general, to learn about the cyber infrastructure life cycle of major facilities, from conceptualization, design, operations, through enhancements. The other objective was to understand how Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence can help the planned enhancements of NEON from a CI perspective, and then taking that understanding to inform and develop a model for a Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence. So as a part of that engagement, our team addressed various CI issues that were helpful to NEON. And we addressed issues related to sensor data collection and processing of the sensor data. We helped NEON with data annotation and data discovery. We helped them visualize the aerial observation platform data. We helped them design an identity management solution. And at the same time, we learned about the NEON data lifecycle, their data cyber infrastructure. And some of the data lifecycle model that we developed was actually inspired by the work that we did as a part of this engagement. After this engagement completed, we had several work products that resulted from this engagement, including software prototypes, documents, joint papers, schema designs, presentations, videos, and so on. One example outcome of that engagement was where we helped NEON with designing a a new way of doing interactive data access of a particular data set from NEON. So this is the aerial observation platform data. And before this engagement, when a NEON user used to request this kind of data, they would do a request for a hard drive with this data. As a part of this engagement, Steve Petruza from University of Utah, from our team, developed a small proof of concept where NEON users could intuitively browse this aerial observation platform data and then request some of this data set. So, and then actually this software prototype was adapted into the NEON portal in their context by NEON. So this is an example where we made an impact to the CI of a major facility by helping them develop better interactive data access capability, which in turn helps the users of this facility. This slide shows more examples of work products that got generated as a part of this engagement. We had many working groups, some of which are shown on this slide. I'm not going to talk and get into the details of this, but as you can see here, we developed proofs of concept. We helped them develop an IBM solution that was deployed in production later on. I talked about the visualization prototype. We did presentations at ESIP and other community meetings. We did a joint paper with them on analyzing different kinds of workflow management systems, and there are others. The last example of engagements I would cover here is the engagement that we have right now with the NORLEB major facility on identity management. And the goal of this engagement is to assist NORLEB to integrate external identities for NORLEB. For example, for visiting scientists or students or postdocs who want to access the data services that NORLEB provides, how to develop an identity management system that integrates not only the NORLEB NORLEB staff, but also this external visitors into the same framework. So we assisted NORLEB in the use of federated identity management with tools like CI Logon and Co-Manage. We have produced and shared examples and demonstrations of using these technologies. And right now we're helping them adapt those examples into their system. So this gives you a flavor of the kind of CI Compass services that we offer as part of these different engagements. One way to engage with CI Compass is through another CI Compass activity, which we call as the topical working groups. So topical working groups are venues where which address cyber infrastructure issues affecting more than one major facility, maybe affecting many major facilities, and which have participants from multiple facilities. So right now we have two such topical working groups. One of them is on cloud infrastructure, where we understand the current practices and future plans for adoption of clouds by major facilities. We research on alternative solutions and keep up to date with emerging cloud technologies that can then be applied to the major facility context. The other topical working group is the identity management working group, which was done in collaboration with Trusted CI, and we are leading it right now. So there we disseminate identity management information. We have quarterly meetings with the speakers and discussions on on topics relevant to identity management. And many of our engagements also have this element of identity management because it's a cross-cutting cyber infrastructure issue that affects a lot of major facilities. So if any of you want to get involved in these two working groups or in any of the future topical working groups, please don't hesitate to send us email at engage@cicampus.org, and we'll be happy to have you include in this topical discussions. So I would like to have a brief pause at this time and do a quick poll from the audience, and please respond on the Zoom chat. Zoom doesn't allow, at least the previous versions of Zoom doesn't allow free text responses. So this is our easy way of taking a poll from you guys. So the question is, if you had a magic wand, what CI problem would you solve, or what capability would you materialize, right? So I think this will get you thinking as to what kind of CI issues can be are challenging to you. What CI issue would be great to solve or would be great to get some help from us with. So I would like to synthesize some of the responses by the end of this talk. But if I can't get to there, we'll make it a point to synthesize some of the responses in a future webinar next month, or we might use them to drive some of the discussions in the major facility CI workshop. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of the webinar on how we plan to help major facilities and large CI projects as a part of engagements. So how can we help any of the MFs or the large projects? So for conducting any engagement, our CI Campus project, first we try to understand the specific cyber infrastructure needs and goals with respect to that engagement. So we try to be as specific as possible while understanding the needs of the specific CI needs for the major facilities or other projects. After that, we try to learn about the current state of the CI as it's deployed in the major facility, and try to learn about the related challenges. At the same time, we try to do the background work on what other tools are there to maybe that can be applied to address some of those needs. After that, we provide expertise and hands-on help to the major facilities, but not modify the major facility cyber infrastructure directly. So we make it a point to provide our advice, both through verbal advice and written advice, and we also provide hands-on help by developing proof of concepts and prototypes. After that, that generally results in some of the work products for the engagement, which help us distill some of the best practices about the lessons learned both by CI Campus and the major facility. And then we generally try to disseminate the generalizable knowledge to other major facilities and the broader CI community and to other community fora. So this is the general structure of any engagement that we conduct. And we try to be deliberate about these steps so that we are more systematic about the way we conduct engagements. Now, in terms of soliciting new engagements, how can you engage with CI Campus? So So any NSF major facility or large-scale project with cyber infrastructure challenges and issues at any stage of the CI life cycle, conceptualization, construction, operations, or enhancements, if you already have a CI issue that's identified and that's plaguing you, and the call for engagements for the CI campus is open, I'll be talking more about the call for engagements in the next slide. So these are calls that we solicit twice a year, once in spring, once in fall, and we select engagements that would be done in the next half year of the project, right? So if you already have a CI issue identified and you want to respond to the call for engagements, and they're open, you're welcome to do that, right? But sometimes what happens is the CI issue needs further exploration, or there's a CI issue that needs immediate need and the call for engagements is not open. In that case, you can always email us at engage@cicampus.org, and we'll be able to explore any potential engagement. We'll be discussing about the CI issues, trying to sharpen the focus of the engagement, trying to define the problem, trying to define the goals, and this will be triaged by the CI Campus Executive Committee with the co-PIs and other leads. And then once the CI issues is identified, you can apply for the call for engagements. They're open. And if the call for engagements are not open at that time, we also accept out of cycle engagement initiation if CI Campus resources are available, right? So I think if you have a CI issue, you are welcome to send an email to engage@cicampus.org, and then we can explore from there to see if we can initiate a new engagement to help you solve the relevant CI issue. Now for soliciting engagements, as I said, you can email engage@cicampus.org. You can respond to the call for engagements. The URL here is on the bottom right. We also work with NSF to identify major facilities in need for CI expertise. We want to reach out to the leadership at other NSF directorates that manage the different major facilities. And in turn, NSF can also request CI Campus for engagements, for discussions, or they can reach out to us on behalf of projects that are in planning stages, right? And as I said, we also entertain out-of-cycle requests. So this engagements would be selected based on the intellectual merit of the engagement, that is the potential of the activity to improve the major facilities CI and in turn further improve the science goals of the major facility. Applicability, the problems fit within the scope of CI Campus, and feasibility, which is the availability of the personnel, both in terms of time and expertise. So we'll review the applications and get back to you within 1 month of the application closing date. And once we're done with that, we'll allocate CI Campus staff and to the different working groups that might be part of this engagement. So engagements which are lasting more than 1 month will be documented using an engagement plan. We do have a template of an engagement plan available on our website. It's a very simple document. It lays out the scope of the engagement, the goals, the time frame, and the objectives. What are the working groups for the engagement? Who are the participants from CI Campus and the major facility? And most importantly, what are the expected engagement work products? Like what would come out of this engagement, right? And then some initial milestones for the engagement. So if more than, as I said, if there's more than one CI topic that needs to be addressed as a part of the engagement, multiple of these working groups are created, as you saw in the examples. There will be a lead from the CI campus side and a lead from the major facility side for each working group. And the engagement plan is generally done at the beginning of the engagement, is approved by both the CI campus leads and the major facility lead for each working group. And once the engagements are completed, we make it a point to evaluate the engagement so that when we do it the next time around, we are better at it. So each engagement is reviewed by our internal evaluator, and the evaluator collects and analyzes two types of data, two types of information to evaluate the project. One is a more quantitative evaluation where we collect statistics on the different engagement work products generated by CI campus and the usage of the work products, like usage of documents or presentations or the proofs of concept, how many work products are generalized, and generally the CI campus materials used. We'll also get qualitative feedback from the major facilities and the projects about the experiences using CI campus services, and we'll generally take the feedback within 3 months or quarterly if the engagement is running longer than that. So that takes me to this very important slide, the most important one. Let's work together. So please send us email at engage@cicampus.org if you want to explore potential opportunities for engagement with us with any CI issue. There is a call for engagement that's open right now, and I think it closes in mid-March. So you can go to this link and apply for engagement with us if you already have a CI issue that's identified, but you're always welcome to talk to us, to engage with us. Send us email at engage@cicampus.org. And that's my talk, and I can take questions from the audience at this time. Thank you.